Hi everybody, Judith Shuttleworth here with my good friend Paula O'Sullivan for our marketing conversations. Hi Paula, how are you?
I'm good, Judith. Thanks so much. Lovely to be here again for another week of
Lovely to
chats.
be here as well. And we've got a very exciting conversation for you today because we're going to talk about branding, which if you're an entrepreneur and you're about to start an online business or you've got an online business, no matter what you're doing, it's something that you do need to look at, your branding. And to have a bit of a think about it before you get going. Or maybe you've started off and you didn't actually get your branding going properly, but it's something that you want to have a look at now and start tidying it all up and do a bit of what we call a rebrand, but it may not necessarily be a total rebrand. But so let's just, before we kind of jump in and start chatting, talk about what is a brand. So many people think it's just your logo, but of course, your brand is so much more than your logo, because really what it is, it's the personality of your business. And I'm just going to read you a very nice quote that I love, and I always quote it when I'm writing about or speaking about branding to my clients. And it's by Seth Godin, who's a very famous, well-known, successful marketer. And he says a brand is a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. And that basically sums it up beautifully. So what he's really saying is, it's how you've put your business together with your products or services, and it's the personality of your business basically that are going to attract people to you to buy whatever you're offering. And within that, of course, I think brand, you've always, I think of the 3 C's. You've got to have consistency, you've got to have communication, and most importantly, you've got to have connectivity with your audience. And basically, that's your personality all coming together in your business. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an overview of how I look at what branding is for a business. And of course, today, most of you will be entrepreneurs, looking at some kind of online business. So Paula, if I just throw it back to you for a sec, what do you think? What advice would you be giving to people who are getting going totally as a beginner online to start thinking about their brand? Where do they start?
Yeah. Well, a very smart person once told me that branding for them is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So whether it's a physical room or a virtual room, it doesn't really matter. And it really speaks to the experience that people get from you and whatever it is that you're offering. And so the first thing that I would ask people to reflect on is, what kind of experience do you want to leave people with? So when people come and see you, when they connect with your content, when they watch a video, when they see you on social media, when they engage with you in whatever format. And Judith and I are specifically talking to people online. So this is very much geared towards online entrepreneurs who are basing their brand around kind of individuals, is what is the experience that you want to leave people? Do you want to leave them excited? Do you want to leave them joyful? Do you want to give them, do you want them to feel educated or empowered? Whatever it is, start thinking about it from the viewpoint of who it is that you want to serve. So when we're getting, exactly. So when we're getting started, really, the first question isn't about you, because branding is not all about you. Branding really starts from who it is you want to serve. So my first point, and the first thing I would invite anyone here watching to do is, so who's your target audience? Who are you speaking to?
One of the most important things that you can look at when you're looking at your branding.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing you need to do is identify that. And there are some exercises that I go through. Judith, you go through those same exercises as well. We're both really clear about who it is that we actually want to speak to. And so, Judith, like, who is it that you're speaking to when you are talking as Judith Shuttleworth, and really kind of connecting with the people that you want to serve?
So basically, I'm talking to entrepreneurs who are looking to learn online marketing. So maybe they've tried online marketing and failed. Maybe they're looking to transition from their job or a business to online and know nothing about online marketing. Maybe they've got a product, a service, a book, a course, network marketing business, an affiliate marketing business that they don't know how to market. So, I mean, that's my target audience. So it's all around online marketing, and they're the people that I'm speaking specifically to. But there's also some great, I've written some blog posts about it, which I can share as well on my blog, that's about how to niche right down with your target audience, or your avatar as it's called. And so that almost when you're speaking, either through video or writing or whatever you're doing to promote your business, you're actually speaking to that particular person. And I have actually got some great exercises on how to niche down and actually find your avatar, which is your ideal target audience.
Yeah, exactly. And I speak to a similar audience, but mine's a slightly different niche. So yes, I'm speaking to people who want to start an online business, but importantly, the people I'm also speaking to, or I'm broadly speaking to, are people who have a one-on-one coaching or a consulting business. So these are people who've built a business through mentoring, coaching, consulting, but only in a one-on-one sense and not online. So really what they're doing, and I've actually done a Facebook Live on this, is they haven't necessarily built a business, they've just bought themselves a job. And so how is it that I can serve those people and help those people transition their business so that they're able to help one-to-many? So they move away from the one-to-one model and move away from having to exchange time for money. So that's a very niche audience. And another audience I'm speaking to are mums with young kids, because you want to spend a lot more time with your kids. You want to be able to be there for drop off and pick up, or right now help them with their homeschooling and not have your work interrupted too much. But yeah, there are a couple of audiences that I'm honing in on and targeting as well, because I think through my experience, because I've been there, that I can help them move through that.
That's right. So that's great. And so for some of the people, who we're talking to today about getting their branding going, that they need to look, first of all, at what their offer is, and what their business is about, what, they've either got a service or a product or something.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at your target audience, because it is such a different conversation. Brand, how you're putting your brand together is so different depending on who you're speaking to. So, for example, if you were selling a yoga course, you're going to have a totally different group of people you're going to be targeting than if you're selling a financial product, for example. So the financial product, you may want a more formal kind of brand. Whereas obviously, the yoga course it's going to be a lot more relaxed. I mean, it's just a totally different market, and the way you're going to look at setting up your brand is going to be very, very different. They're the first two places we'd start. And then, Paula, what are your thoughts about what we call branding you? So branding yourself as the face of the business. Some people think that if they're starting a business, they've got to just have a kind of, a business name. They don't want to go on video. They don't want to kind of put themselves out there. They may be shy. They may be feel a little bit insecure that they don't know as much as others in their niche or in their area. not have as many runs on the board, especially if you're new starting out. It's very easy to feel, oh, you know, look at that person. They're already doing it. They're already successful. They're already making money. I'm just starting. How can I have the confidence to put myself out there as an expert in my area or my field? So what are your thoughts on people actually branding themselves and doing what we call branding you?
So people, and going back to Seth Godin's quote that you said at the beginning of this conversation, branding is more than just the offer. Branding is more than just the product or the business itself. People are attracted to people. People still make decisions that are based at an emotional level. So there's what we call in the online marketing, well, really in the marketing space, the know me, like me, trust me factor. And you and I have spoken about this
We have
quite a lot
many
before.
times.
So people need to if you want someone to buy from you, they have to get to know you and they have to trust you. Now, an interesting exercise is really looking at your own personality. So if you're someone who's, say, an introvert, so the person that you're kind of describing is someone who, they might be a bit introverted, they have a particular expertise, but they've never really brought it into a business sense. So what you can do is, you know, do a little bit of research into some people that offer what it is that you do, but then look at that and say, actually, here's how I do it better, or here's how I do it differently. Because, you know, you and I have run digital marketing businesses for years. So I celebrate my 8-year anniversary this month in my business, so I'm very excited about that. So I know. So 8 years for me, 10 years for you. We have 18 years combined experience. That's an adult. We have just grown an adult together, Judith. So we have combined 18 years experience in this. But there is some stuff out there that we are very new to as well. But what we offer, a gazillion people out there offer as well.
That's
There are
right.
people out there who offer exactly what we do, but how is it that we have people buying from us? They're attracted to our personality. They're attracted, exactly, they're attracted to our vibe and who we are and what we represent. And so this is where you need to start looking at, okay, so what are the superpowers of my personality? And I'm going to be doing some stuff around superpowers for introverts, because I'm, you know, funnily enough, am an introvert, so it might not come across that way. But if you are a bit shy, really tap into your expertise and your knowledge of what you do have, because you do bring something. And someone out there is going to look at what you bring and go, I want that. That's the exact thing that I want. So what is it?
Right.
Exactly. So even if you start off small and maybe do, you know, create some PowerPoint slides and do a bit of a voiceover, that's perfectly okay, because there are people who have made millions of dollars doing that, who they themselves been on camera. Or maybe what you do is, like Judith and I do, is team up with someone in a similar business to you, and you can be business buddies together and you can have these kinds of conversations.
Which is fun and easy.
Yeah.
And not quite as challenging as if you're just speaking to your phone camera or your laptop camera.
Exactly. But the important part that I would also reflect on is values.
Yeah, definitely.
Is values. And there really is, when you create content and when you put that content out into the world, you are putting a statement about your values out there as well. And there are businesses who do the same thing. So there are people who, I sell exactly the same widget, but they're going to have two different audiences attracted to them, because there's going to be a values statement and a values exchange in that as well.
Which is really a part of your personality and the bigger personality, isn't it? So your values is kind of that's that whole part of your business that you're putting your personality into. And everybody is very different. And I think, you know, it doesn't matter how you look, how you sound, A lot of people have got hang-ups about that when they're talking about branding themselves. You know, they're not good enough here, or, you know, it's actually very unimportant. It's you. It's
Yeah.
what shines out of here that
Yeah.
people are attracted to. And
Yeah.
when you speak, even if it's a voiceover on some slides, people can work out who you are from your voice and what you're about, and then the rest of the content that you're putting out there for your business and for your brand. And that's what people are attracted to. So you're so
Oh,
right.
100%.
And that is a big part of then the trust of them when
Mm.
people are buying from you. So that's definitely a big part of it. So branding you is obviously very important. People don't want to deal anymore with a faceless business, whether they're big or small these days. I mean, look at some of our big companies that have got
Mm.
faces. I mean, Qantas, which is the Australian national airline, you know, we see Alan Joyce continually on the news and social media and everywhere else. I mean, another airline obviously just not doing well here in Australia, Virgin, with what's his name? Who's the
Oh,
Virgin?
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
Yeah.
I mean, he's everywhere.
Well, you've just given a perfect example of two completely opposite. These two companies do the same thing. They
Yeah,
fly you from one place to another. It's the same product,
that's
exactly
right.
the same product, but two different brand personalities. Alan Joyce is very corporate.
Very corporate.
Very corporate. Richard Branson, very casual. He's
Very
more,
casual, and
yeah.
it's all about his staff, it's all about the people. Everything for him is about the heart, family. You know, his staff are, you know, he always talks about how his staff are his family. And so that's right, very different way that they've come across putting their brands together. And that's a
Mm.
perfect example, and yet they're huge companies. So when you come down to, you know, your online business, it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if, you know, you've got competitors that are more successful or know more or more experience. You'll still have your very own personality, values, and everything else that you're bringing to your brand.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly. I guess kind of one of the things that I like to put out there as a value for my own brand is I like to debunk the BS that goes on in our industry, because there's a lot of really bad energy and a lot of crap and a lot of urban myths and really bad practices that goes on in the
so
online
you're
world. There's a
talking
lot of
about in the online marketing. That's exactly.
Correct. So in the online marketing, internet marketing space, there's a lot of bad,
A lot of
bad stuff
sharks.
going
There's a lot
on.
of sharks, and there's a lot of people
Yeah.
who aren't operating from integrity, but that isn't necessarily where everybody is. And I would like to think that for
Yes.
both of us, that we actually operate from a position of integrity, because that's how we've always run our other businesses for many years.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. And so the brand personality that we bring out, or the offer or the value that we bring out, is we might do the same thing. We do the actual same thing. We help people market themselves and we market ourselves online. But the value and the what comes through from us in our content is vastly different. I mean, we are not necessarily the glamour superstars of the internet world, but I don't want to
yes, we
be
are.
either. Oh. well, FYI, I'm sitting here in my Ugg right now, so you know, super cash. But yeah, I mean, our personalities, like Judith and I, have different personalities, and we do the same thing, but different people are going to be attracted to what it is that we do, and that's okay. So really,
Absolutely, there's room for everybody.
and this is the thing. So I would also encourage people, when they're thinking about their branding, don't go and define yourself against someone else. Because if you do that, you're going to lose every time. Don't define this. I am not that person. I am not. Just don't. Yes, I just did have a bit of a rant, but putting that aside, define yourself about what you stand for and about what you are and about what you offer. So, you know, I stand for integrity in the internet marketing space. I stand for no BS. I stand for honesty, transparency. You know, we don't need to have a, we don't need to have a glamorous outlook. We just need it to be real. So what is it that you stand for that you can define yourself as? And then that becomes the launch point to then going, okay, well, I can now talk about this and this and this and this. And I'm going to come across like someone like a Gary Vaynerchuk. He swears like a sailor, but I tell you what, he's got this real integrity, no BS
right.
about him. And I love what he stands
And
for.
yet, if I did that online, it wouldn't
Mm,
be authentic to me, because you'd be thinking, God, she's got a gutter mouth or a potty mouth. Like, can she
I
clean up
know.
her act? Whereas he totally gets away with it. And I think that's another point to bring in here that's important. You don't necessarily have to have a rock star personality. And yes, sure, some people out there do have the rock star
Mm,
personalities. And yes, of course, they do really well because, you know, they're larger than life and they make
yeah.
a lot of noise and people are attracted to them. But not everybody is attracted to that. And so sometimes, you know, the quieter personalities can also be just as successful. And basically, it is all about being authentic to yourself.
Mm,
And um, you know, if it doesn't feel right for you, my advice is don't do it. Whatever is feeling authentic to you is going to come across as real, not trying to be somebody you're not, because it's just not going to work. Like if I was sitting here swearing every second word like Gary V,
yeah.
it would just somehow not really work for me because it's not
Mm.
me. So mind you, I do swear a bit sometimes, but I'm not going to swear on
Yeah, but you've really got to be wound up to do that. So,
exactly. Exactly. So now, Paula, what I want to do is get to the bit that I love as well,
yeah.
which is the visuals of our brand that so many people think,
Yeah.
you know, is our brand. But we've just already explained to you that's not your brand, your logo. But of course, once you've worked out, you know,
Mm,
what your business is about, who you're speaking to,
mm,
where you're going to sit in the market depending on your personality and what you're bringing to it, then you
mm,
can start looking, if you want to, at
yeah.
your logo, your colors, your fonts,
Mm,
your tagline. That all comes under your visual, which of course I love all that stuff, but lots of people don't. And you know, you can still get away with a very, very simple, understated brand, or you can go for something totally, you know, beautiful and divine and elegant, whatever fits again with your
yeah.
business and who you are and your personality.
Exactly, exactly. And it's very what like for someone like myself, I'm a very casual dresser. I don't dress up to come on videos. When I do speaking gigs, I think I own one suit. I have one sensible pair of shoes to go and do those things. But generally when you're going to see me out and about doing my marketing, it's in t-shirts and jeans and Converse shoes, Birkenstocks in summer, every single day without fail. But that's what my brand, but this is the thing, this is what my branding is. And so the colors and the fonts and the look and feel of what I do is very much in line with that. And so, you know, you're coming to me like live in my living room, because that's kind of what my branding is. And so the look and feel of all that becomes very much wrapped up not just in you, but how that is represented through, as Judith said, things like colors, fonts, those sorts of things. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't spend a lot of time in putting my stuff together, and it evolves over time. So just because you choose something now doesn't mean you have to stay with it forever. So do what feels right now, but if you outgrow it, that's okay too.
That's right. Well, you can definitely always have an update, or what I call a bit of a revamp.
Mm,
And we know lots of marketers who are really very, very successful online, with barely any branding at all. They still bring their personality to their business, but their blog or their website is what I'd call almost to the point of ugly, and no logo, no colors, no consistency at all with the visuals. So
My blog
what
is
we're
very
saying
plain.
is you can do both, but I think some of those people too then have their own special qualities that they're bringing to their brand to make them stand out. But definitely, I mean, the look and feel is something that I love, and I have my logo designed in my colors, and I love all that stuff with the fonts and how everything looks, but it's very individual, and if you're going to have some fun with it, definitely have some fun, but again, make sure it's in keeping with who you're speaking to, your personality that you're bringing to the business. It has to all be consistent. So basically your branding right through from the start, everything is about consistency, so that it all feels for other people looking in on your website or your blog or your banners or whatever you're putting together, your social media, that everything kind of fits, that it's authentic and it's consistent. And that gets back to those 3 C's that I talked about, which is consistency, communication, and connectivity. And all of that is put together with the bits that you've put your business together and your brand, whether it's the visual, whether it's the voice, whether it's, some kind of simple strategy behind how you want your brand to be. It is totally consistent, and it's around those 3 C's. So everything kind of works together.
100%. And I would add that those 3 C's are very much seen through the filter of understanding who you truly are, understanding your value to the world, and understanding who it is that you want to serve. And if you can combine those 3 with what Judith has just said, you're going to have a really powerful start to your branding, that's for sure.
And then the only other thing that I think is, which, I'll throw away at the end, because we'll wind this up in a sec, but is trying to somehow weave your story and some kind of emotional kind of connectivity through your branding. And a lot of people, I haven't got a story, or how am I going to do that? Everybody's got a story, and everybody's got something about why they're where they are in their business, why they're offering their product or service. And so trying to weave that into some kind of storytelling into your brand is also very important for that emotional connectivity with your audience, so they feel like you're real and authentic.
People also want to see themselves reflected. So, so this is where representation is so important. So if there's something about you and your personality that is so different, even though you sell the same thing as 100,000 other people, what is the unique part of you? The unique part of you that you can use to connect with other people, because people like to see themselves represented out there in the marketplace.
Definitely. And also for them to be buying from you, they want to feel like, so whether it's a product or a service or network marketing, whatever it is you're selling, it doesn't really matter what you're selling. They need to feel like there's a connection with you and your brand. And they get that through that kind of emotional connectivity to it. And whether that's just, as Paula said, trust, or whether it's weaving your story through, your marketing or whatever you're doing. But I think, so what we're going to do today is just give you some links below, which take you to, or above, wherever you'll see this video on YouTube or Facebook, to a free class that will lead you, if you're interested, into a course that we call Ambassador Program or Profit Platform, depending which version you're interested in. And that teaches Badass Branding as part of the course for learning online marketing, which you'll find absolutely amazing if you are interested in learning a bit more about branding and how you can weave that into your online marketing. Then this course is truly fantastic. There's whole sections on called Badass Branding, which is how you'll stand out, getting your social media platforms together and your voice through that, and then leading into, your blog, your posts, your ads, everything, so that your brand is totally, connected and set up beautifully.
Yep.
So,
100%.
Paula, do you have anything that you wanted to finish on?
Oh, look, I think I think the main point out of all of this conversation is just be you, because there are people out there who are going to connect to you. So don't try and be a version of yourself that is not you. Just be you, because there are people out there who are going to love that and be connected to that. So just do that.
Well, that's a wonderful way to finish. So we will catch you next week. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about, but we might have some other branding conversations later on where we'll go a little bit deeper. What we might do is have one coming up in the next few weeks about how you work out who your avatar is, and because there's some great exercises that you can do over really niching down to work out who your avatar is. But for now, have a look above below for the links. Paula will have hers on her video and I'll have mine for the free class, which will lead into the course if you're interested in doing a bit more work on your branding. But for now, that's over and out from us. Everybody have a great day, and it was great seeing you all again.
See ya.
Thanks, Paula. Bye.